Hey there, I'm Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 352 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. Today we are talking about communications, and we're going to do our communications roundup. We've done relationships twice, we've done contribution, and we've done financial, the areas and aspects of our life framework that we use to create some structure into what can otherwise be very chaotic things like our life, our businesses, everything. So today our focus is on communication. Communication is one of two areas that I added to my life framework in 2020 during the pandemic. I don't know about you, but a lot of us had a lot of time to do things if we used our time wisely, that is, to create different things that we wanted to create in our life. And one of the things that came out of that for me was I'd already been doing annual challenges. So even though the world was shut down, I didn't stop doing my annual challenge. I didn't stop. And I actually added every other month, I did a 30-day get up and go challenge because I wanted people to get up and keep moving and do what they could do with what they have at the time to keep moving forward and progressing and doing some of those things that they'd always wanted to do but never actually had the time. Well, the forced shutdowns and the forced locked-ins of our houses gave us the time to do remodeling projects, to do yard beautification projects, to do things, read, personally develop, grow, study, learn. So it kind of divided the world in a couple ways back then, I think. And I think that's part of why there's so much unrest and disagreement right now around the world and in different sectors, because there was a group of people that did nothing but really watch and consume, I want to say crap, nonsense and the fake news, because it's not news, right? Our news has long since, journalism is dead as far as I can tell, in terms of mainstream media, mainstream platforms. And if you use that as your source of information and you buy into everything that's out there, you're going to be pretty miserable, because it's been focused on the negative for decades, intentionally, by the way. So don't blame yourself, just do a detox, get off of it. One of the best things I ever did was in the 1980s. I was in a program, a training program, a week-long training program. And the facilitators of that said, okay, we're going to all make a commitment this week during the training to not watch the news. Turn off your television. Don't watch the news at all this week. And I took that to heart. I didn't really love the news anyway. I used to watch it with my aunt and uncle. They lived in the town where I was working at the time. And I turned it off for a week and I never turned it back on again. I turned it on during 9/11, and I've turned it on for a couple of presidential elections to watch the fraud and chaos unfold in real time right in front of our own eyes. I'm pontificating, but otherwise I do not consume mainstream media, and I don't consume much streaming media because it's also jaded and slanted and politically incorrect, although it believes it's politically correct. So today we are going to do, which is right up the topic of today, right? Communication. We are going to do a communication roundup, meaning we're going to look at four things. We're going to look at what were our communication wins for this past year. What have we changed or been doing that's really working for us and we've been doing well? So we're going to make sure we carry that with us into 2026, the new year. What lessons did we learn? What did we do that didn't go perfectly the first time? I guess if you didn't do something this past year that didn't be bad or didn't turn out the way you wanted to, you're probably not pushing your comfort zone envelope and doing what you could possibly do to become a better version of yourself. So what are some lessons that you learned this past year? And we want to make sure we take the lessons out of the experiences that we had. And I want to say negative experiences, but they're not anything until we assign a value to them. They're just our experiences. And I say, if they turned out the way you wanted the first time, that's probably positive. If they didn't turn out the way you wanted, that's probably, initially we feel that's a negative. But I have learned that over time, every single one of the most important, best lessons I've ever learned in my life, and the best things and the best situations, I look at them, I look back on them now and I say, oh my God, that was exactly what I needed at that time. Although when you're in it, it doesn't feel that way. But once you get out of it and can look back on it, you're like, oh my gosh, that's what I needed to see. Third thing we want to look at is what is right now, presently, still our biggest challenge that we haven't dealt with yet from 2025. And it, with respect to communication, look at all of the communications and all the things that you've done this year and what's something that isn't right yet in your mind. Maybe it's listening skills. I'm going to tell you, mine's listening skills all the time, every year. And I listen pretty much for a living, right? So I need to really stop telling myself that I need to improve my listening and just embrace the listening level I'm at and continually improve. And then finally, what's next? What are 3 things that you want to accomplish in the area, or 3 items that you want to deal with in the area of communication next year, in the new year? Because we're not only reviewing this year, but we're setting ourselves up for success next year. All right. I pontificated enough. If I can help you in any way with this, identifying any of these, let me know. Otherwise, do it. Share in the comments below. Share what you want to share. You don't have to share everything, or we'd get like probably a book from some of us. But just share what you want to share so we can learn from one another. I have found I'm in different communities right now on the school platform, and the groups where all of the members engage and share are the most powerful, fun to be a part of. All right. If I can help you, ask. Otherwise, have an awesome day. And I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.